You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your Mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hello, single smart female. It's your romantic fairy godmama, and today, I know you're never going to believe this, but we have a single smart female listener question that comes all the way from Seattle, Washington. Now, Miss Sexy Seattle Single Mama writes, "Hello, beautiful Jen. I'm 32 and on the path to getting divorced. When I was with my husband for 5 years, we got married and we had a great relationship. A month before our 3-year wedding anniversary, I found out that my husband had been having an affair for a year and a half with a coworker. I was completely shocked and devastated, especially because our son was 5 months old at the time and would never know what it was like to have his family together. I don't take responsibility for my husband's choice to have an affair. However, when I listened to your dating boundaries class, all I could think was, wow, I turned into the bitch as soon as we got married. I turned into the doer and often treated him as if he was incompetent, and I struggled with control issues. I've done months of counseling to deal with my grief, and I'm trying to learn everything I can about stepping into my feminine power. I'm beautiful, successful, and a lot of fun. Once we're a little further along in the divorce process, I want to start Mantourage dating, but I can't figure out how to manage it with my mom duties. My son is 1 year old now, and I don't have anyone to watch him besides his father. His dad has him every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and this leaves me the whole day to date, but I can't decide if I should be packing multiple dates into that one day or only seeing guys from my Mantourage once every 2 to 3 weeks. Having multiple dates per day just starting out seems a little overwhelming for me, but also only seeing them once every couple weeks doesn't sound like it would be that successful. Saturday is also my day to do things with friends and for myself. How do I balance it all? His dad is supposed to see him Tuesdays and Thursday nights as well, but his work schedule is extremely unpredictable. He is almost always later than he initially says, and sometimes it doesn't make it at all before my son needs to go to bed. Trying to date on these nights would be difficult because I'd probably be showing up late or have to cancel often. Jen, your podcast has helped me to have hope for a better future and to see my current circumstances as a wonderful opportunity, and I can't thank you enough." Okay, dear sexy Seattle single mama, there we go. I've got some good stuff from you. First off, I want to tell you I'm extremely proud of you for going through the dating boundaries course. And I want you to know, yes, I agree with you. It is 100% his decision to cheat and is not something you should take responsibility for. But it is imperative, and this isn't just for you, and you've already gotten this, it seems like, but for all women to understand that we have a lot of influence over men that we don't recognize. So I want all of you, if you haven't done that dating boundaries course yet, go to datingboundaries.com and do it. It's a free course for you, from me, because I love you. And boundaries are extremely sexy and extremely important when done the right way. Okay, so let's dive into this. Again, proud of you for, dealing with your grief and learning everything you can about stepping into your feminine power. Yes, you 100% are beautiful, successful, and a lot of fun. And why? Because that's just a decision we make. So it makes it 100% true. Okay, so a couple things. I know you are you're waiting until you get further into the divorce process. And I want to encourage you, it is absolutely okay to wait until you're fully divorced. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to take this time to prep and learn and do that, it is okay to do that, to baby step your way into Mantourage dating. I'm going to go through some things about Mantourage dating, and I want to go through some things that are specific to your situation. Now, granted, you're not right in front of me, so I don't know. I'm going to say things, and you're like, well, that won't work, or this won't work. The thing is, I'm giving you ideas, and you ultimately, you can find, and a lot of women do, and I don't think that this is you necessarily, but a lot of women do with it. You can find all the reasons why it won't work in this situation, or you can get creative and find the reasons that it will. And so I'd like you to go into this with the suggestions that even if I have a suggestion that you're like automatically that won't work, take a second and maybe there's something you pull from it, or there is a deviation that you could do that would work. Okay, so number 2, Mantourage dating is not for the faint of heart, even for women without children. Why? Because it takes a certain level of bravery. This is why I love working with ambitious women, because they typically have the bravery that it takes. Now, they don't always have, and actually in most cases don't have the skill set, but that's what I'm here. That's what I teach, and that's what I help with. But that bravery part, that's mostly you. And the fact that you're willing to listen to something that sometimes seems counterintuitive, or that society has taught us is counterintuitive to some degree, and really step into something so that you can eventually create the relationship that you want, that showcases to me that you have the baseline bravery that it takes to make this successful and to find the relationship that you truly want. It is logistically more of a challenge, definitely, in women with custody situations. I want to talk about your custody situation for just a second. Okay, granted, I'm not in your world. I don't know what the reason for the custody situation is, but it does seem like his duties are light, meaning he doesn't have a ton of time. And I'm wondering why that can't be increased. You know, why there aren't any overnights. Why is it because he's just young and you want him to settle, in one place and just have that stability of that? If that's true, I would consider maybe expanding your mind on that maybe it won't be as, like, if it's a reason of you think the stability part of him having to spend the night, maybe it won't be such a stability issue as you might think, if that's the case. I don't actually know that that's the case for you, but if it's the case, it's something that I want you to explore, because I think it would be great for you to have a whole night to yourself, a day and a night, okay? And then work from there. Now, maybe there are other reasons that I don't know about, and that's perfectly fine. Again, I'm going to give you a list of things that you can take and you can directly take, or maybe you can find a deviation that definitely works for you, but it does seem from what you've told me so far that he's a little light on actual caretaking duties. Okay. Now, with that said, you said that you don't have anybody to babysit for you. Okay, I actually do understand something about this, because when my daughter was young, my husband was actually working in the Gulf of Mexico for a lot of time during the year. And in some ways it was fantastic, because it was before she was born. It was great because I liked that relationship. I liked having that time to miss each other, and then we had a great time when we were together. But when she came into our lives, it was definitely challenging at times, and I didn't have family around. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a lie. I did have a sister who was around in the same town as me, but I didn't have any family outside of her, and she 100% refused to help. And I didn't know how to navigate that. So I got into this place where I was like, I don't have any help, blah, 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 blah. And I realized it was just me. I wasn't, making the effort to make other mom friends. I wasn't making effort asking my friends. I had gotten into this idea that there was nobody else that could take care of my child. And I had to start to let go of that little by little. And I found alternatives here and there. And definitely, if you set the intention, we'll find that. And it's definitely a good thing. It's a good thing for you. Now, I do think it's great, especially when they're young, to spend as much time as you can with them. But I also think it's good for you to have a life, even if it feels abbreviated to some degree. The other thing I was going to say, you asked, how do you balance it all? Saturday is my day to do things with friends and for myself. And you 100%, I know dating, you definitely should not be doing with your child, but you can 100% do things with your friends with your child. Okay? And that's what friends do, is we meet you in the middle. So they can come hang out with you at your place. You can meet at places that are kid-friendly, parks and stuff like that, all kinds of stuff, so that you get that interaction until it gets a lot easier as they get older, of course. But I want you to understand that there are lots of different ways to navigate this. And yes, you're going to have to be creative. That's it. But learning to be creative, even in situations like this, is a positive, because being creative is learning how to navigate life. That's what life is. We can't be rigid all the time. We have to learn to be creative, and we have to learn to be resourceful, and we have to, add an element of fun to it and look at it as some type of adventure, so it doesn't seem like it's just a chore. When we get into that chore, we go into that bitch mode very, very fast and very easily. Whereas if we change our perspective on it, view it as either a challenge, an adventure, or add our creativity to it and make it fun, your responsibilities become something that you can enjoy. Absolutely 100% enjoy. And it obviously sounds like you care about your child so much. So yeah, go ahead and have some fun with your friends too. And even if right now that includes your son being with you during that time, that is totally doable until you start getting into these situations where you have more babysitters and time that you can break away. The other thing is that a lot of times your friends will fall so in love with your child, they'll offer to, or you can even ask, hey, is it possible, could you watch him this night? Because I have something big that I really would like to do, and go from there. And if it's a factor of money, there's always ways to do things. But a lot of times friends will do, I know I would, in a heartbeat, if you were my friend. I'd watch your child for an evening so you could do something. There are a lot of women that would do that and that would love to do that. I do also want to encourage you to make friends who are moms so that you can have play dates, so you can have adult conversation, and then your little ones are entertaining each other. There's lots of different ways to negotiate this and to have some fun with it. So you can balance that, and that can be, for right now, that can be included in your time when you're with your child. And I want to encourage you to do that. If you're not already doing that, if you are doing it, you can up it even more. Now, you asked about for yourself. Well, again, the good thing is that you're young. And that's what, I love that's going on here. Which sometimes when we get older, we get jaded and then we lose our energy and all kinds of stuff. And you don't have to go there, but sometimes we do. So what's fantastic is you're young. And literally, once he goes to bed, you can do things for yourself. I understand that you probably like some more time to yourself. And that's what I'm gathering from this, even though you definitely sound like you're really kicking ass at the whole single mama thing. But again, it goes back to a couple things. Is your ex, is he taking enough responsibility and asking him, and I don't recommend necessarily coming at him or anything, and asking him if he can take your son a little more often, maybe giving you a whole weekend sometimes, or a whole night and a day every weekend or something, and negotiating something like that with him, and then going from there. Because I think there's more play in this than maybe you have considered. And sometimes when we don't consider things, it's because we're really afraid that nobody else can take care of our children like we can. And you're not necessarily wrong, but you're not necessarily right either. So explore that, because I think you'll end up being a better mama, and I think you'll end up having a better time. Now, let's get to the other question that you have, which is, if you have a Saturday free, do you do multiple dates versus one day? Oh, by the way, let me rewind just for a second, just so I don't forget to tell you. You can also consider Bumble BFF for looking for friends, mom friends, who they can be single. They could be not single. It doesn't really matter. Just have, good mom friends so that, you can start doing play dates and things like that. And it might be a little bit trickier, but try to navigate it with somebody that, instead of focusing on, and I know it's not necessarily a big concern right now, but instead of focusing so much on who your kiddo will get along with, focus more on who you get along with, okay? And have some fun with that. Now, back to the question about multiple dates versus one date. That's completely up to you. All right. If for right now, again, you take your time getting into Mantourage dating, you can baby step your way all the way into there. Play with your logistics, play with that, and then start and make sure you put together a really great profile for online dating. Even if it means you don't get up there as fast as you can, it is more important that you put together a really great profile so you can start the right dating process for you, and then select your time wisely. I do, like I mentioned before, I have a lot of single moms who tell me that they can't Mantourage date because of their schedules. And I say, I love you. I know it's challenging, but bullshit. It is definitely something you can do. And whether or not you do multiple dates or versus one date, that's up to you. I know it doesn't seem like, it wouldn't be very fruitful to see every couple of weeks, like it would be very successful, were your words. But I've had clients that's exactly what they did. Sometimes they wouldn't see a man for 2 to 3 months. And the one in particular I'm thinking about, she, in fact, ended up for a year. They dated very infrequently for a year, and they ended up together in an incredible relationship. And guys, the right men are very patient. So it's definitely something you can do. If you want to do multiple dates, I think that's fun too. You can test out both and see what you can do. I don't want you burning at both ends. I don't know you personally, but I believe that because you're younger that you'll have a little more energy. But I definitely know that this is doable for you. And I just want you to play with the logistics in it all. And you have the right mindset going into it. I don't want you to look at it as how do I balance it all? It doesn't have to be a perfect balance. It is something that will evolve over time in your Mantourage dating experience. It's something that when I work with single women, it's something I actually love working on logistics. That's one of my weird favorite things that I like to do is help women plan out how they do everything. It's just something that I love. So have some fun with that. Don't make it tedious. Don't overcommit yourself. And you're going to be very surprised at how well things can work out and will work out. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. Managing Mantourage dating as a single mama is logistically more challenging, but it is totally doable and more than worth it. Hey, lover girl, don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you are ready to finally stop being on the losing end of love, then listen up. I exclusively work with women like you who want it all: career, success, to be loved, adored, romanced, and who are willing to change the status quo in dating so that you can finally have the love life of your dreams, as well as a soft place to land at the end of your day. Most smart, successful single women I know and or have worked with have one thing in common. They are incredible at the rest of their life, but they feel powerless, uncomfortable, and awkward in romance. Just because you are smart does not mean you should figure it out on your own. I can guarantee you there are several pieces that you are missing, big pieces. And in fact, one of the fastest ways to unravel all that's keeping you from the love life of your dreams is the secret society of adored women. But none of this means anything to your love life until you take the small step of courage by scheduling your application interview for the Secret Society of Adored Women at secretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com. This is the way beyond the podcast opportunity to completely reinvent your dating and love life as it is happening. It's a love life makeover year where you can tell all of your craptastic dating and love experiences to kiss your hot ass. This is you having a real life romantic fairy godmama at your fingertips instead of ever wasting another moment on one-size-fits-all crap advice about men, dating, and love. These are the additional pieces that I won't reveal on the podcast or in public. We are going to cover the ins and outs of Mantourage dating, leaving nothing untouched. And I'm going to work with you directly to customize the experience in order for you to get everything you want out of life and love. Procrastination is the exclusive killer of all dreams, especially in your love life. It's time to get your dating and love life in order. It's definitely time to stop pretending you enjoy mediocre dating love experiences, but most of all, it's absolutely the right time to develop your Mantourage and let me help you create everything you want romantically. Magic included, no batteries required. Meet me over at thesecretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com to schedule your application interview.